One's ready. Go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. This is your daily drop for 6 May 2025. If you're new here, this is all the news that gets curated by Public Affairs Office and sent out to the commanders and the chiefs every day. It's like a 20-page report, but I've run it through AI just to give you the bare bones, and then I'll provide any kind of opinion, insider baseball, or maybe no opinion, because who the hell cares what I have to say? But we still have open slots for the Operator Training Summit coming up 21 and 22 June, which is happening in San Diego, La Jolla specifically. So if you're looking for instructorship, mentorship, working on your efficiency, we have 12 hours in one day scheduled for the pool. Like, it's going to be incredible. So, and then we also have, your normal Taylor Starch coming out. We'll talk about running, calisthenics, rucking, attributes, mindset, all that kind of good stuff. So join us out there. If you are interested, leave us a comment with your email or shoot me an email at jared@onesready.com. All right, on to the news. We're starting off with the joint news. Defense Secretary orders reduction in generals. Defense Secretary announced a 20 to 30% reduction in four-star generals, just the four-star generals, to realign the Defense Department's unified command plan, aiming to enhance strategic readiness. The move will shift resources from headquarters to warfighters with careful but swift implementation in collaboration with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is good news. I wish they would kind of extend it down to all four, or 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-stars. Maybe less on the 1-stars, because you can't. I don't want to say you can't, but maybe you shouldn't diminish or cut the ones that will be eventually fleeting up. But definitely a reduction is important, because we need to push decisions down to the lowest level possible, and we need to empower people to make said decisions. And sorry if you guys can hear all those jets. I've got I can see from where I'm at, there's probably 12 more F-16s lined up, ready to take off. So, yeah. Next, U.S. tests reusable hypersonic vehicle. The U.S. successfully conducted a second test of reusable hypersonic vehicle, the Strato-launched Talon A, reaching Mach 5 over the Pacific Ocean in March. The vehicle, powered by USARA's Majors Hadley rocket engine, landed at Vandenberg Space Force Base, making progress in the hypersonic technology development. Awesome, man. We're behind in that, so I'm glad that we're actually working on that now. DIU and Northcom tackle counter-drone challenges. The Defense Innovation Unit and U.S. Northern Command launched a socialization for low collateral counter-drone technologies through the Replicator initiative to protect installations and infrastructure. The effort aims to integrate solutions into existing systems, addressing urgent threats in small, uncrewed aerial systems in North America. Cool. Next, DoD overhauls software risk management. The Pentagon's acting chief information officer, Katie Arrington, initiated the Software Fast Track initiative to replace the outdated risk management framework with a continuous authority to operate model. The effort includes developing a new framework by assessing software providers' risk scores, aiming to streamline and modernize DoD software acquisitions. And the acquisition process is very convoluted and broken, and so it's not just about acquisitions of software, although software is a major component of it, because oftentimes, and all of you know, if you've ever bought a computer, that pretty much the day you're buying that computer, the very next day is obsolete. Or maybe not obsolete, but it's out of date, because things are moving so fast. So when you have an acquisition process that could take upwards of a year, maybe the requirements have changed, the technology has changed, and you're so far behind, and then you get an antiquated system that gets rolled out, and you're like, dude, why are we using this? Like, why can't we have this thing that's even better and it works better because now the technology is better. So this is a good thing that we're streamlining that. DoD firefighter staffing falls short. The Defense Department's civilian firefighter workforce is 10% below minimum requirements, with firefighters working longer hours and earning less than local counterparts, per the Government Accountability Office report. The DoD lacks a department-wide strategy to address chronic staffing shortages and inconsistent staffing targets. So here's what I can tell you, and it falls right in this, and it's not just firefighters; it's a whole bunch of other people. We are not paying enough as a DoD to compete with private sector. We're just not. When you start looking at contractors, when you start looking at like this mentions their counterparts that work for the city or the state and stuff like that, they're getting paid significantly more than what they're doing on base. Now, how do you rectify that? You make it competitive. Like, competition is a good thing, and you make that salary competitive with those that are in the local area, because why wouldn't you do that? Why would you knowingly take a decrease in pay when you could work on a private sector and make more money, especially in a field like firefighting or something like that? Tricare extends specialty care waiver. Tricare West region patients have until June 30th to access specialty care without pre-authorizations, marking the second extension due to ongoing delays in securing appointments. The waiver ensures uninterrupted care for Tri-West beneficiaries amid challenges with the new Tricare contract effective 1 January. I'll tell you right now, this whole thing was a mess. I was dealing with this with certain referrals, and I mean, talk about being on the phone for 6 hours kind of thing. Like, it was rough. Now, things did get better, but there were still friction points without a doubt. So I'm not really surprised that this got extended, and I'm glad it did. I mean, I wish it didn't have to, but I'm glad it got extended. All right, Air Force news. The Air Force revamps training and facilities. General David Alvin outlined initiatives to enhance Air Force recruiting, expand the 57-hour Pacer Forge exercise. Excuse me. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Expand the 57-hour Pacer Forge exercise in basic military training, and update dining facility menus to support warfighter performance. These changes aim to revive the warrior ethos and advance capabilities like the F-47 fighter and collaborative combat aircraft. But people join, the majority, I know this is not everybody, okay, but people join the military mostly because they want to do something hard. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And we went through a time where we thought lowering the standards was going to increase, recruitment. Turns out it actually hurt it. So we're upping the standards again, making things harder. I mean, I'll tell you, and if any of you out there went through basic training during this time period that I'm talking about, the comment would always happen that, man, I thought I was coming into the military. I thought I was coming to basic training, or I thought I was coming to boot camp, and I thought things were going to be hard. When do they get hard? And they never did get hard. So, like, this is a good thing, and I'm glad that they've increased it. Next, Sentinel ICBMs require new silos. The Air Force now plans to build new missile silos for Sentinel ICBMs, as refurbishing existing Minuteman III silos may be inefficient and costly. The Sentinel modernization program could cost up to $946 billion over the next decade, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Hey, if we are going to be a nuclear superpower like we are, we've got to have up-to-date stuff instead of stuff that was designed in the 60s. So it's probably time, and although the bill's going to be big, it's probably time to do that. And that's the thing, though, is that we've kind of sat around and done nothing with it. We've kept up with it, and obviously it's good to go still, but this price tag is so big because we've just put it off for so long when we should have started doing it a long time ago. Next, Air Force BMT shifts to field training. The Air Force is updating basic military training to reduce classroom time and increase field exercises, emphasizing physical fitness and hands-on learning in smaller groups. The revised curriculum aims to instill a warfighter mindset focused on understanding the purpose behind actions to defeat adversaries. All right, cool. Next, Shepard Air Force Base, food drive success. Airmen at Shepard Air Force Base, Texas, donated nearly 5,700 pounds of food to the Wichita Falls Area Food Bank as part of the Fed's Feed Families campaign. The 82nd Training Support Squadron won awards for the most donations and Best Decorated Pallet, supporting the campaign's 107 million pound collection since 2009. That is a shit ton of food. Jeez. All right, next, Space Force. Space Force focuses on enlisted development. It's about time. Chief Master Sergeant John Benavida emphasized the need to grow the Space Force's enlisted force, envisioning officers as planners and enlisted guardians as technical experts in daily operations. The service is still defining its structure to place the right personnel in operational roles while keeping senior NCOs technically relevant. This is something the Space Force has struggled with for a while because they started up kind of in haste, which is good because you got to pull the trigger and do it sometimes. So I don't disagree with that. Like, I think it was the right time for it. The problem is they never doctrinally and culturally delineated between what officers do and what enlisted do. And they are very, very officer heavy. So you would have officers and enlisted sitting right next to each other doing the exact same job with a massive pay disparity. So the Space Force needs to figure out, what do their enlisted do and what do their officers do? And who is actually the technician? Who is the expert in their craft? Civilian cuts impact air and space forces. The Air Force anticipates losing 12,000 civilians and the Space Force about 570, with the latter facing disproportionate challenges due to its reliance on Air Force support and civilian guardians operational roles. Sorry about that. Careful mitigation is needed to prevent mission impacts, particularly for the Space Force's smaller force. Space Force question satellite refueling. Space Force officials, including Lieutenant General Sean Bratton, expressed skepticism about orbital refueling, citing unclear military advantages and high costs compared to replacing satellites. Most satellites are not designed for servicing, and technical failures, not fuel depletion, are the primary reasons for retirement. Okay, so I mean, I talked about this before and how cool it is that, we're potentially refueling satellites in there. Like, that capability is pretty freaking cool. But I'm also talking like a knucklehead, and I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Space Force stuff. So if the actual primary reason for most of the satellites' retirement is actually things rather than fuel depletion, then yeah, the low Earth orbit refueling doesn't make any sense. So that's interesting. All right, let's see what else there is. Honestly, I'll tell you what, right now, I'm going to stop it right here because I am running out of time and I got to get this out to you guys. And I've got a meeting that starts in 30 minutes that I cannot miss, and I'm going to be in there for basically the remainder of the day. So I want to get this out to you guys before I get stuck in that meeting. So anyway, don't forget, hit us up if you're interested in the Operator Training Summit. You've got my email at the beginning of this, jared@onesready.com. Join us out there. We are going to have so much fun. And besides, you're in San Diego. It's gorgeous out there. And we just want to see your beautiful smiling faces. Later.